So in case you guys didn't know, as a Bulldogs fan, you could definitely tell that I was stalling not to make this video. I know the Bulldogs won. I know it was a good game, but it was pretty disappointing. But I'm going to get right into it. But before we do that, make sure to like, subscribe, turn notification bell. You guys help me out a little bit. And without further ado, let's get right into this video. Now, of course, Georgia beat Mizzou 26-22. This game was a scare. This game was also very disappointing. Let me just get into the analysis. Now, of course, Stetson Bennett, most of the game, he was very, very off. He looked completely off rhythm. However, 24 for 43, 312 yards, 0 touchdowns. Not a bad game. Now, of course, going to Brock Bowers, who's been absolutely killing college football lately. He had 5 receptions for 66 yards. Darnell Washington, a guy who I think needs to get the ball a lot more, had 3 receptions for 64 yards. That was pretty much all that needs to be talked about in the receiving game. Now, the rushing game, especially in the second half, it ended up being really, really good, and it was pivotal to Georgia's win. Now, of course, Kenny McIntosh, 11 carries, 65 yards. Kendall Milton, 7 carries, 63 yards, and did have a bad fumble, so he actually should have a lot more yards than this. And, of course, Daijun Edwards, a guy who I think is super underrated for UGA, 11 carries for 49 yards, and was pivotal on one of those game-winning drives. Now, of course, Georgia had 169 total rushing yards, along with 2 rushing touchdowns, so pretty good when looking at the grand scheme of things. But the first half, Georgia was really struggling to run the ball, and that was the first time in a long time, and really this season, it's the first time in a long time I've seen a Georgia team struggle to run the ball at any time and period in a football game. I find it pretty concerning. Now, of course, going for the defense. Now, unfortunately, I have to start off with an injury. Superstar Jalen Carter could be out for a couple of weeks with the MCL injury. I've heard 4 weeks, I've heard 6 weeks, I've heard as low as 2 weeks. So basically, I'm taking this as a week-to-week basis. I don't expect him to play against Auburn next week. I may expect him to play the week after that, but ultimately, I'd expect about 3 weeks out because it looked really bad. Now, of course, the defense is literally the only reason we won this game. Dumas Johnson was absolutely everywhere. He led the team in tackles with 8 and had even 1 tackle for loss. Malachi Starks also had a somewhat good game with 7 tackles and a pass defended. However, when it comes to his coverage, it was a little bit more iffy. You know, at the beginning of the game and in the middle of the game, kind of in the second and third quarter, he looked a little off kilter. However, he was able to manage. He was able to get back up, and he was able to have a good game in the end. Now, of course, 22 points, tied for the most points UGA has allowed this season, and I really do think, as much as we want this defense to be as good as it was last year, it's just not that. It's that simple. It's just not that. The defense is not going to be that good this year, or at least as good as it was last year. It's still one of the best defenses in all of the country. I know that's the expectation now, but we need to be realistic. This is a different style of defense. This is a younger defense. I would not expect this defense to be as good as it was last year. However, I do still think this is a solid defense, and I do still think this defense has NFL-worthy pieces. Now, of course, going into the total recap, just going to keep it short and sweet. Like I said, most disappointing game. You remember when I said the most disappointing game for Georgia was last week? Scratch that. It was this week. Georgia dropped to number 2 in the AP poll, which, to be honest, I kind of care about because, you know, you want that number 1 spot. But there's a lot of season left. Just a really bad game in general. I think UGA should take this W, go to 5-0, and just file this away and refocus going into next week. I think Kirby Smart needs to get this team refocused. It's been really rough in the last 2 weeks, and I definitely think Georgia needs a statement win over Auburn next week at 3:30 p.m. Got to tighten up. If we refuse to tighten up, then this could be a really ugly season and an ugly game. I expect a dominant statement win from UGA, but we can only see when it comes to next week, and I'm really excited for this game. But, of course, thank you for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, turn notification bell. You guys help me out a little bit. Have some different content coming for you guys. I have some top 5s. I'll be talking about video games, fast food restaurants, all that kind of stuff. All the stuff my friends talk about. So if you're interested in that, make sure you go check out this channel or on the Micah Extras. I don't know where I'm going to post those yet. But, of course, thank you for watching. Thank you. Enjoy your day. Enjoy this video. I hope you enjoyed this video. I wish you nothing but the best. Stay loved, stay blessed. And without further ado, I'm going to end this video. Thank you for watching.